2 has entered the podcast.
Welcome back, people, to Player 2 has entered the podcast. That show where we talk about video games, nerd shit, and two friends catching up for the week. I am your co-host, Mike, a.k.a. MC Paperstacks, and with me, as always, is my co-host with the co-most,
Derek, a.k.a. Full Metal Murk. We're back again for another week.
Wow, you look like you're about to fall asleep.
I'm so tired. I don't know how Ben acts sometimes, but Nora can get a little wild. This morning I was dropping her off at daycare, and like an idiot, I let her watch my phone before it was time to go in. And so she put on Ryan's World, and she's loving it. And then it's time to go. The teachers are coming out to get the kids. I'm like, okay, Nora, it's time to go. I pause, and then she's like, no, Daddy, no, I want to keep watching. No, Daddy! Ah! I literally have to go. I literally have to go to the passenger side where she's sitting and pull her out of the car.
Wow.
Her hands are rest her hands from the steering wheel. The teacher has to take her away from me while I'm holding her. She's putting all her weight down. She's just dead weight. And I'm just like, girl, not over Ryan's World, baby.
That's crazy.
I say we're not going to be watching that no more.
Well,
nothing no more.
I will say this. I think your experience is more emblematic of what parents typically go through at that age. Ben is... I'd like to figure out if we did something different. I really would. But Ben is special in that when I'm like, hey, stop doing that. We got to go do something else. He's like, all right. The worst I get is, I was really enjoying this. And I'm like, man, you can do it later. He's like, okay. And that's it. That's all I get from him. I don't know. He has been the most easygoing kid I've ever met in my entire life. I'm thinking that his brother will probably be when the other shoe drops. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. He went through a fit throwing phase when he was 2 and 3. We had for a period of a couple of months where he would go, nah, throw himself on the floor. And we just ignored him. And then if I see that he's getting really upset, if I do something and he's emotional that day, I stop, I get on his level, I calm him down first. And then once he's calm, I tell him why we have to do something, or he can, or why he's in trouble, or why that behavior is unacceptable. And I'm really lucky. There's a lot of single parents out there that don't have time for that. You know what I mean? They're like, if you don't come on, I'm going to spank you, and then you're going to be crying the whole way. But I feel fortunate that Chris and I both have time where most of the time we don't have to do that. Occasionally I'm like, we ain't got time for this. But I don't know if that built rapport, but again, I just think I'm lucky. I feel like you could do that with any kid, and depending on their personality, they could still be prone to anxiety, they could still throw fits, and it may just be a personality and age thing. And for whatever reason, he's just calm like a bomb, dude. I don't know.
It's crazy because this was the first day she's done that.
Yeah, when she really threw it.
Even for preschool, she's just like, okay, yay, time to go to school, have fun. Yeah. Today was just like, ooh. No. I was like, you embarrassing me in front of all the... I'm just playing. I don't say that. Don't tell your kids that. You're
embarrassing me. Yeah. No,
all these parents.
I really want to try hard to not be cool in front of my kid, because I think that's when you get in trouble and you betray them. Because kids are inherently awkward and goofy, but if they're happy and they're being themselves, I do not want to discourage that. Even if I might be embarrassed. If Ben just starts breaking out into song and dance, Daddy, sing and dance with me. I don't want to betray him. So I think about that often. Okay, I'm a dad now. I can't be cool anymore. So I'm with you on that for sure. And to be honest, I watch you and Victoria with Nora, and I think you guys do really great with her. I think you guys are great parents. At the end of the day, it's just a phase you're going to have to get through. But when she gets older, I bet she'll appreciate it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, right on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. What else you got going on this week?
Well, a few weeks ago, I picked up something very cool at Goodwill. It's a original Xbox branded surround sound system.
I remember that. You sent me a picture.
Yeah.
And all I saw was old looking speakers. And I'm like, and you sent it without comment. And I'm like, am I supposed to know what the fuck this is?
What am I looking at? But it's a giant subwoofer with an Xbox name on it. And then there's 5 speakers that have Xbox on it. I got the remote receiver, and everything. And I got it from Goodwill. And I just tested it out yesterday, and it works, and it bangs.
It bangs, huh?
So hard. Yes, it bangs so hard. I have it listed on eBay. There haven't been any that sold, but the only ones that are listed are 1,000 plus.
Wow. Holy crap.
I've got it. Yeah, so I've got it listed up there. I may get that. I may not. I don't know, but I've got offers on it in case anybody wants to make an offer to me. It's really cool. Like it's
Right.
really cool. It's
So that's one of
coolest
those
thing
where you
I've
actually set the offer bottom this time. I know you don't typically like to do that, but for this one, you're like, I'll accept X amount. So that way
Right.
people, okay. Well, hey, if you heard that and you're interested in the speakers and you feel like you got some money to throw at it, then by all means, I didn't even know this thing existed, to
Me
be
either.
honest.
Ask This Replay. They had no idea either. Nobody there knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's crazy. That's crazy. I guess that's why it's so sought after by people who do know about it.
Right.
Very cool, man. Awesome find. All right. Well, this week, it was either this week or last week. I don't know if I talked about it last week, though. I might have forgotten to talk about it. You watch a lot of YouTube like I do. You've probably seen the trailer for Malignant like a million fucking times, right?
I haven't seen it at all.
Really?
I have YouTube Premium, so.
Oh, YouTube Premium. We don't have trailers. Well, us plebes, us working stiffs who don't pay for YouTube Premium, we've all been watching trailers for Malignant. Like, they're pushing it hard. The marketing budget for this movie is insane. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, I might want to check this out. Where can I watch it at? And I realized that it's a Warner Brothers film. So guess what? It's on that HBO Max.
Dax.
That's right. So I went and watched it, and the opening scene I thought was, you know how like in a movie when somebody's watching a TV show, they make the TV show seem extra cheesy to juxtapose the reality of the movie? Like they have to kind of go overboard, they overact and all that. So the opening is like this hospital, but it looks like Dracula's fucking castle on the edge of a cliff. And there are doctors inside like, Gabriel's going crazy again. What are we going to do? And then they're like, there's like wide angle lenses and people walking down the hallways really fast and saying shit like he's broadcasting with his mind. Like, and completely delivering it seriously. And I was like, this is schlocky as fuck. And I thought for sure that it was going to pull back and somebody was watching a TV show. Nope, that's just the opening.
Oh.
And then it goes to the credits and it's like 2000s rock, like, and it's like showing you images and stuff. It's like trying so hard to be Fight Club or something. Speaking of Fight Club, in the score is a cover of Where Is My Mind by the Pixies that plays repeatedly throughout the movie. Just like it's so dumb. It doesn't fit the movie at all. And I don't want to ruin, because there's a big twist, but to me, I figured it out like less than halfway through the movie. I was like, oh, well, this is why this happens, and this is when this happened, and this is what's actually going on, and this is who the killer is, right? But in the beginning, like after that cheesy opening sequence, when you actually get into the movie, it does seem like a James Wan movie, like an Insidious or a Conjuring. Big scary house, normal people, some weird haunty type shit happens. You're like, is this paranormal? Is this a real person? What's going on? And it just proceeds to get dumber from there. But about midway or shortly after they reveal the twist is when it just goes full Sam Raimi. And I think the dissonance comes from somebody like Sam Raimi or James Gunn, that, you know, like somebody who's directed a trauma film or something schlocky like Evil Dead. There's this tone that's consistent throughout, like, you know, you're watching like a comedy horror or something silly. And James Wan is too slick for that. So like a lot of his shots are like, they look really good. And a lot of, you know, the cinematography and the setups and the money and the budget and everything just doesn't. So I can't tell if he was trying to be goofy and silly or if he was serious, like if it's a Tommy Wiseau situation. It's the dumb. You need to watch this movie.
Okay. Maybe I'll watch it this weekend.
I was gonna say, enjoy. I know you guys are celebrating. We're doing this a day early, guys. We're recording on Thursday because happy anniversary. Happy. What? How many years?
8 years married.
8 years with your beautiful wife, and you guys are going to celebrate all weekend long. And one of the things you're going to do is you're going to watch Malignant.
She likes to watch scary stuff anyway, so
yeah. And this is I mean, it's sort of scary in the beginning, but then after a while, it's not scary at all. It's just dumb. But I don't know. Every time I think about it, I just keep giggling. Like, I laughed out loud several times while I was watching it, but I was also like, "This is so dumb." So. If you go in expecting something serious that's actually going to scare you, you're going to be disappointed. But if you go in not knowing what to expect and being okay with schlocky horror, then I think you're going to have a good time. So
awesome.
Oh, man. One other thing that I watched this week that I know you watched, because we've been talking about it every week, is What If?
Yes.
Episode 6. What if Killmonger met Tony Stark?
Not only met, but saved Tony Stark.
That's right. From Iron Man 1, when he gets attacked in that caravan. What if Killmonger saved Tony Stark? What'd you think about the episode?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. As far as it stands on the pantheon of episodes so far, it's one of my least favorites. Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of cool stuff going on in it. Like, I still liked it, but it was just kind of, yeah, okay, I kind of get where this is going, and I've seen this before. In fact, I've seen it in Black Panther, but it's just being told in a different way. So
it's basically Killmonger enacting his plan from Black Panther, but doing it through Tony Stark rather than doing it through... This is the weird thing. In Black Panther, he captures, what's his face? That
Claw.
The Claw, right. Who played? Andy Serkis. So he captures a Claw and turns him in. He does the same thing in this episode. The only difference is that he brings an army of robots that he got Tony Stark to make him.
Right.
But he still destroys all of them. So he could have just as easily gained their trust the other way. Either way, he is going to end... I don't know. So I don't want to ruin the episode, but I agree with you. There were a lot of inconsistencies with how we know the characters to be. Like, Tony Stark did not act at all like Tony Stark. He was very dumb.
He acted like he did in the beginning. Like when Iron Man first started, There were some character consistencies, I'll give you that. But it was just... Once Tony Stark kind of learned more information about what was going on, the way that he acted, and I don't know. Again, it's a what if, so who cares? Right. It's just somebody rambling on about, a possibility within a universe of infinite possibilities. I like the action scenes. They were slick. I like to see more Killmonger. I think it's a great character. One thing I absolutely hated, and it's almost like Disney doubling down on criticisms that people have of Disney being centrist, was when Rhodey was like, the only way you can change the system is to work within the system. And Killmonger just like, nope, and then kills him. And it's basically like framing Rhodey as right and Killmonger as wrong. And it's just, you can make him as bad as you want and as evil as you want, but his philosophy of not being able to change the system within the system is actually true. Like, we've seen it. Throughout this pandemic, things have continued to get worse. And if anything was going to get us a UBI, universal health care, or the government to give a fuck, it would have been this. And it wasn't. Right. Because, again, you cannot work within the system to fix the system. Yeah. That's me getting political. Anyways. Just Disney, man. I want to talk about a missed opportunity.
Yeah?
So this takes place during the first Iron Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Howard should have came back to play Rhodey.
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been so funny. Now, he's probably got bad blood, with whoever.
Yeah.
Well, this is before Disney purchased Marvel, though, right? The first Iron Man.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with now. They still have to go get him now.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, would he have bad blood with anyone at Disney?
Considering that they're letting Kevin Feige still run the show and everything is kind of moving.
So it was
Disney's bankrolling, but that's about it. Yeah,
gotcha.
So,
but yeah, if Terrence Howard would have showed up, that would have been the fucking greatest what if ever.
Hey man, I don't trust this Killmonger, man.
Hey man, yeah. Got change within the system, man.
Hey, man. You got to work within the system. Change system, brother. Hey, baby.
Yeah, I thought for sure Terrence Howard was going to show up, and he didn't. And so
that's amazing. I didn't even...
a 0.5 out of 5.
Right? 0 out of 10. No Terrence Howard. That's amazing. I didn't even think of that. That's fucking so cool.
Yeah.
I want somebody to do like a dub and then just put Terrence Howard's voice in there. That'd be great. Somebody do it. We need to get like a TikTok. Somebody come in. Hey, man, you got to work within the system. Change the system, man.
Right. Push that shit out, man.
Oh, man. But no, I mean, the show is still great and interesting, and I was entertained the whole time, but I agree with you. It's not one of my favorites. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
We got 3 more episodes. Last week we said we have 3 more because I think we were off by 1. You said there was 9 total, and we were thinking we were talking about 6, but we were talking about 5. So now we have 3, and we have no idea what they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks of mystery, romance, excitement. You like what I'm doing with my hand here? Is that
right.
Is that doing it for you?
On to the question: what if?
What if indeed?
I can be Watu.
Thank you.
I like how they made Watu black because the guy voicing him is black. He's darker.
Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
it's great. His head is still weird, but that's just Watchers.
Yeah,
Watchers'
right.
heads are weird. They're gigantic heads. They gotta have big heads to hold all the information that they store in their noggin from watching. So
right.
They have to recall all that. All right, well, let's get into what we've been playing this week. I don't even have to ask you. I can almost guess. I'm assuming it rhymes with Bales of
Disguise?
Disguise, yeah.
Bales of Disguise.
Is it Bales of Disguise?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, it's Bales of Disguise. I've been playing Bales of Disguise all week long. I've been shirking all types of duties.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding. I've been shirking duties, but I've certainly been doing a lot less work, a lot less thrifting, a lot less of everything. Tales of Arise has taken up my entire life right now, and it is glorious. It is so good. It is so good.
I've seen a lot of people talking about it online, and I've seen a lot of TikToks about it, and people are loving this game. And to be honest, it looks kind of cool. I like how the combat looks.
It's
Describe
combat.
Describe the combat in sexual terms for me. Just kidding. Don't do that.
Okay. I was about to say,
he got really, he straightened up in his chair. Right. He's like, oh yeah, here we go. But no, describe the combat. Like, what's it like?
So it's an action RPG, and whenever you run into an enemy, it transports you to like a battlefield plane where there's a barrier around it. So it's kind of like, it's just a circular arena.
Okay.
I mean, then you fight all the,
that's been done.
Yeah. And you fight all the enemies within the area, and you have a regular attack button, and then you have buttons that let you do your arts or like just special moves, and you have something called an AG bar, which is an action gauge, and when that runs out you can't use your special moves anymore, but it replenishes over time. So the thing that this game is doing different is that there is no MP, which is usually magic points, so you can continuously use your arts and your special moves without worrying about saving them for the next fight or anything, because they keep regenerating. Mm-hmm. Now, what they have changed is that they've added CP, or I think it's cure points, and all of your healing arts take away from your CP, and that has to be regenerated at campsites when you rest or with special items. So that's a thing that people were kind of bummed about, because they're like, man, now I gotta have my healing. I can't heal if if I don't have enough CP.
Well, I get the grievance.
It's kind of like MP. It's the same thing as MP.
They have one foot in like really ramping the action up, and they still have another foot in pulling it back. Because if everything was on a recharge, and the CP could be on a separate recharge, right? As far as like the healing, it would still ebb and flow your healing and your attack. And if they ramp up the enemy's aggressiveness to match you being able to use your specials and your healing more often, it would make for more frantic battles and less management in between. So I get where they're coming from.
True. It's still pretty frantic though, and it's always satisfying. They have something called boost attacks and boost strikes. Now I get them confused sometimes, but I think boost attacks, each character has their own individual one, and it performs a special function in battle. So, for instance, the girl on the cover art, because I don't want to really say any names or get anything in the spoilers.
Okay.
The girl on the cover art, she uses a gun, and when you're fighting aerial enemies, her boost attack shoots multiple lasers at the enemies, and then it downs them. So any enemies that are flying, they fall down on the ground, and you can get some extra hits in.
Good.
The main character, he uses a fire-based sword attack that knocks down enemies. Any enemy you touch, bosses, whatever, it knocks them down, and it's awesome. And there are a bunch of other characters. There's 6 characters in total that you get to play as. And just all of them are... Oh, God. I get so flustered when talking about this game because there's so much I want to talk about. And it's so good. And I don't want to spoil anybody on anything. If you are interested at all in this game, you should go buy it at full price. Period.
Wow.
At full price. You will not be disappointed. I have been playing it for about 45 hours. I'm at the end game, like the last dungeon area, and I'm just like sweeping up all the side content because I don't want to miss out on anything. Like I want to do it all. And that's not real common for me. A lot of times when I beat a game or get close to beating a game, I just want to beat it and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason is because I have to stay off of YouTube. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't get spoilers. This has happened historically with me a lot, where a new game would come out, and the day it came out or the day before, I would get on YouTube and then I'd see a spoiler. Like a big fucking spoiler. And I'd be like, no! So now I just stay off of YouTube when a new game comes out, and when I beat it, then I'll get back on YouTube. But thankfully, I have not been spoiled at all for this game. I love it. It's great. The story's great. The characters are really endearing. The relationships that they form, the bonds, everything. It's looking like it might be my game of the year, man.
How much anime bullshit are we talking?
Okay, so there is anime bullshit. It's a Tales game. It's Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
You know, but I think what it does well, even if anime bullshit is something that you're opposed to, what it does well is far and away above what that can bring down your experience.
Okay.
It's just
yeah, no, I've played
like
games
there's a lot of the grunts, you know. Like
no, I was gonna say I've played games that were filled to the brim with anime bullshit, but the gameplay was so good. Like you said, I did not care. So
right,
it sounds like that might be the case here.
You won't care. Yeah. Ooh, so good. Oh my god, so good. It's so
yourself
good.
Calm
I
down.
can't.
I had some pretty decent gaming experiences this week, too. I didn't play a ton of games like I usually do, but I did at least play one new game by virtue of First Time Tuesdays. And tonight, I'm probably going to be playing Fire Emblem Warriors for casual Thursdays, because I'm recording a day early. And I've been playing Fire Emblem Warriors all week long, and I actually finally finished everybody's weapons, which takes a lot of grinding. And I'm down to just one DLC map left. It's a history map, and I got a few battles left to do. And once I finish all the battles, even if I'm not completely finished getting everybody's bonds all the way up or their materials for like their passive abilities, I'm probably done. Because I think at that point, there's no challenge for me to surmount. It's just collecting things at that point. Mm-hmm. But to say that I'm done with Fire Emblem Warriors, that's a feat. I don't know how long I've played that game, but it has to be easily 300 hours or more.
Well,
yeah, well in excess.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I don't know. I love it. I did a TikTok this week. Somebody was like, "What's the game you always go back to?" And I'm like, Warriors games all day, all day. What's a game that you always go back to? Like, what's a game you pick up when you're in between games and you just want to play it again?
So tough. I would have to say Final Fantasy X or Kingdom Hearts 2.
I've done a lot.
I don't go back to games a lot. I don't. But lately it's been like Spider-Man, God of War, kind of newer stuff. Just play it for a little bit and be like, oh wow, yeah, I remember this. This is good.
And then stop.
Then just put it down.
Do the same thing. Yeah, I do the same thing. I played a little bit of God of War recently when it had its PS5 upgrade, just to get back in it for a bit, but I didn't actually finish it. I do that a lot. I dipped my toes back in Ghost of Tsushima, and I haven't touched it since. I need to go ahead and go to Iki Island, though, check out that new content.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, Friday Night Frights. I played Call of Cthulhu, my third episode, and I think I'm finally done with this game. The jank has overcome my ability to enjoy it. It's just, I spent like most of the recording session the last time trying to get like through this jail part, and it was so obtuse, and I was like trying to figure out what to do, and I did finally get past it. And now we're in this part where like we're driving a truck down the road and everybody's shooting at us, and I keep dying on that part, and I'm just like, this game. So I've always wanted to finish it, and I have a good save file on Xbox now where I can go back to it later on, but I'm done for now. So this upcoming Friday, which will already be done by the time that this episode comes out, I'm going to be playing my first episode of Evil Within. I'm going to try that out again. So I remember really enjoying that. I never finished it, so I want to do that. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Monday Night Brawlers. I forgot 2 weeks in a row to talk about my Brawlers game. Can you believe that? So last week I didn't talk about it, but I played Fight Crab for an hour.
Nice.
Yeah. And for those who don't know what Fight Crab is, I have a Switch version. I think I got a physical version, like a limited run type deal. But Fight Crab, or I got from Play Asia, it's a fighting game where you like play as a crab and he's like flopping his little arms around and you punch the other crab and you rack up damage and then knock them over. And if they can't get up from being knocked over, you win. But eventually you can fight in like cities, like giant kaiju crabs. You can fight as different types of crabs or lobsters. You can use different weapons like Thor's hammer, lightsabers, guns. Like it gets really silly. So I played that and enjoyed that a whole lot. And then this week for Monday Night Brawlers, I played The Bouncer on PS2. Remember The Bouncer? Yeah.
Yeah.
The first Square game on the PS2. We were all eagerly anticipating Final Fantasy X. And we were like, ooh, Square came out with a game on the PS2. Let's go get it. And it was a beat 'em up. And a badly implemented one at that. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's not really good.
No, I always found the character designs to be kind of interesting because they were so similar to ones we've seen before, like the character Volt, because you can play as 3 different characters. There's Ko, Volt, and Sion or Scion. And Volt kind of looks like Zell to me if he was like 40 and he didn't have tattoos on his face. He even has a jacket with a cactuar on the back that says "No Escape." Right. And he uses wrestling moves. Scion looks like Sora before Sora came out. Yeah, he's got like the shorts and but he's got like a dog chain around his neck. It's really weird. And he works for Dog Street, or maybe Dog Street's the designer of his clothes. Tetsuya Nomura is the designer of his clothes, and Tetsuya Nomura is
There's
wacky.
Belt buckles.
There is belt buckles. There are literally characters with belts wrapped around their face because Tetsuya. The thing that sucks about the Bouncer is you can knock enemies down, and you can kind of hit them when they're knocked down, but it's really finicky, and they get up pretty quickly, but not quickly enough. They get up slowly enough to delay gameplay, but not slow enough for you to do any additional damage. And then moves they do often will knock you down, and then you're laying down. So there's a lot of people laying down in that game. Not a downtime, if you will. And there's a level up system, like you get points for defeating enemies and finishing a level. You can pick any one of the 3 characters from most of the part. There's a point in the game where all your characters kind of split off and you have to stick with the one that you picked on the level right before. Yeah. But any points you put into a character will level them up. They all start on like level G, and they go to F and E and whatever. Here's the thing. When you level up a character, all of the enemies in the game level up. And it doesn't matter who you're playing as. So when I first got the game way back in 2000, whatever, I played as one character and I just focused on them and I leveled them all the way up to like rank A or rank S or something, right? Then I went back in New Game Plus to play as another character and they got their asses whooped because all of the enemies were impossibly tough. Yeah. And the points aren't shared between characters, so I can't earn points with one character and then give it to another. If I play as the overleveled character, he's the only one that gets points. So you basically lock yourself out of being able to play as the other 2 characters unless you start a completely new save file.
Damn.
Yeah. It was poorly designed.
The idea they had in mind.
Yeah. And there's some good ideas there. Like I said, there's some funky music. There's some cool set pieces. The enemies are interesting. It's just, it's a big swing and a miss. Yeah. So you can watch me struggle with that if you want. That's up on Twitch now. The last game I played this week for the first time ever is a game that's been out, I think, since around 2017, 2014. I can't remember exactly when it came out. It's called What Remains of Edith Finch. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have.
It's what they would call a walking simulator.
Yes.
And every time somebody mentions these types of games, Edith Finch was always brought up as like something that was beloved, that people really enjoyed. And I think it's by the same people that do the Unfinished Swan, because there's a reference to the Unfinished Swan in the game, which I thought was actually kind of cool. I've played a decent amount of walking sims. The first one I ever played was Gone Home, and I actually really enjoyed it. I'm not going to ruin the story because that's kind of the whole point, but I found the story to be really hard-hitting and poignant. And I liked it. I played a lot of walking simulators that I didn't really get very far with. Like Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. People say that's really good, and it didn't grab me, to be honest. What Remains of Edith Finch is lovely. It is a great game. It is an amazing game. There's a lot of creativity in that game. It is very impressive what they were able to do with the concept. The character you play as is Edith Finch, and she's going back to the home of her family, where everybody kind of left all of a sudden, and you go through room by room and get pieces of stories from her immediate family and then her predecessors, her great-grandfather, people like that, how the house got to be there, the kind of curse that looms over the family. Essentially, you find out very quickly that most people in the family die at a pretty early age, and then you kind of see how that plays out. And it's not scary or anything, although it does have some kind of funny and spooky moments. There's even like a character that's basically the crypt keeper. Like there's like this, yeah, just like that. Like you're reading a comic and he's narrating it, so you can hear him narrating it as you're reading the comic. It's amazing. And there's a lot of different sequences that are really different like that. You can beat it in less than 2 hours, and you probably have it because it's on PlayStation Plus. So if you keep up with downloading your PlayStation Plus licenses, you probably have a PS4 copy that you could download to your PS5. I know you're obsessed with Tales, and I know other folks out there are playing games that they want to play, but I would honestly highly recommend you download it, set aside, again, something you could do with your wife this weekend because it's lovely. Set aside 2 hours. You'll beat it in less than 2 hours, I promise you. And go through the game and just experience it because it's probably one of my favorite gaming experiences. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check it out.
High praise from me for What Remains of Edith Finch. I can see why it's so beloved by the people who have played it and talk about it. So,
Awesome.
All right. Well, I think it might be about time to get into gaming news. Gaming news. See what I did there? That was a needle scratch.
Yeah.
It did the yeah. I'm going to get music someday, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got a really talented person working on it, but they're also really busy. You know how that goes. So, but I'm making an effort. Now, there was something that you wanted to talk about this week. You had mentioned it was in relation to Tales of Arise.
Yes. So Tales of Arise is now the fastest selling Tales game in the history of the series. And I just want to say that because it's dope, and I love Tales of Arise.
That's actually a pretty impressive bit of news, because there's a lot of Tales games. Like a lot.
Tales has been coming out since PS1.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is very impressive.
On all the systems. You can get Tales on PS1, PS2, PS3,
Gamecube,
360,
PS3.
Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Gamecube, all that stuff. So, that's impressive.
Vita.
Speaking of news that's simultaneously impressive, but also not so impressive, when you think about it more than 2 seconds, Nintendo Switch finally enables Bluetooth via a patch.
4 years later.
Oh my god, Nintendo Switch has Bluetooth, you guys. But listen.
I can use my Raycon earbuds?
Hold on.
Oh no.
The Switch can only be paired with one audio device at a time, and it can only use Bluetooth when 2 or fewer wireless controllers are connected to the system, which means 1 pair of Joy-Cons only, or 2 Pros. You also can't use your Bluetooth mic, so if you think that this is going to make chat easier, think again.
Damn.
Also,
I wasn't chatting with nobody anyway. But
also, people are saying it's kind of laggy. I haven't tested it for myself, but I'm like, of course it's fucking laggy. So,
right. It's funny to think that Nintendo could have just literally flipped a switch and gotten Bluetooth working. But whatever.
It's kind of funny when you think about it. So no, you don't have to rush out and get an OLED to get Bluetooth. It's here and it's mediocre. Congratulations.
It's here. The future is now.
The future is it's in the past now. Here we are.
It's 10
the
years
future is
ago.
present.
The future is 10 years ago.
So we spoke last week about the CEO of Tripwire, John Gibson, and his tweet in support of the Texas abortion ban. I was really trying to be nice and give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know why. I was just feeling very charitable last week.
Yeah,
I feel like, there's a lot of really angry political discourse right now, and there's a lot of firebrand going on, and I get it, because I feel like that's what gets shit done. But I also feel like if you really want to reach people, sometimes you need to understand where they're coming from. But more research into John Gibson and a lot of the stuff I've been hearing about him this week, he is a son of a bitch. So fuck him. I'm glad he lost his job. I just wanted to say that publicly. So I'm not like trying to play devil's advocate just for devil's advocate's sake. I'm not trying to say that both sides have equal arguments. None of that. If anybody was thinking that from last week, I was just really just trying to see the human in my fellow man, which I think that we often forget. And then sometimes that can close a bridge to understanding. But I don't know. This guy seems pretty far gone, to be honest. I could go into detail about all the bullshit he's into. I mean, but if you're curious, just Google him or move on with your life. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Speaking of fuckery, Activision Blizzard. our favorite publisher to shit on lately. Employees have filed a complaint accusing the game company of unfair labor practices. They have alleged that it unlawfully cracked down on their organizing efforts that took place in the wake of all the harassment and discrimination allegations that have been going on. The complaint basically asserts that Activision Blizzard threatened employees that they cannot talk about or communicate about wages, hours, and working conditions, and also engaged in surveillance and interrogation of employees advocating for better working conditions. The charge was filed last week with the National Labor Relations Board by prominent Media Workers Union Communication Workers of America, or the CWA. It's been sent out to all the news outlets, so everybody's reporting on it. But it's like, yeah, duh. They're hiring like union busting employees. They're coming in guns blazing, trying to tamp this down rather than fix it. Bobby Kotick's the CEO, and speaking of a son of a bitch, like that guy, I mean, come on. So it's not something that I'm surprised by, but I am glad that the Blizzard employees haven't given up. They're filing complaints. They're trying to get this news out, and kudos to them for fighting so hard. You know what I mean? Like, that's scary. Yeah. That's your livelihood that you're messing with when you try to advocate for yourself. And it shouldn't be this difficult to unionize and fight for yourself, but that's the state that the industry, the people who work on the things that we love the most. And so if there's any way you see where you can give them support, if there's organizations that you can donate, money or time to, look into it if it's something that ignites a passion within you. Because to me, I feel like the better the people who make our games are treated, the better off we're all going to be.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That's my soapbox opinion on it. You have anything to say?
Just treat people fairly.
Yeah. You wouldn't think it'd be that hard, right? Don't be a... Hey, player 2.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. That's what we say.
Right.
I love it. Good news this week. A new PS5 update came out. And what does this allow for again?
There's a lot of different things, but the two things that stuck out the most to me are it now allows you to use M.2 SSD storage expansion. So all that means is that you can now add a SSD to your PS5 and not have to only use the 667 gigabytes?
Yeah.
That the system allows for.
It's not much.
So you can, right. So you can expand that. Great. Awesome. You have to actually open up your PS5 in order to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see how some people would probably just not even bother with it and just keep deleting their games. But,
especially if the reason they got a console is because the PCs intimidate them. I get that.
Right.
I just cracked open my PC the other day and I was like, I use this for everything. But it ended up being fine.
Yeah, but I still use my external hard drive to keep my PS4 games on there. And I feel like as long as I have that, I don't need to go in and Frankenstein my PS5.
Yeah.
Well, I made it sound like it's more difficult than it is, but it's pretty simple.
No, and I've heard some people say, if you're worried about storage, just delete your game and then add the other game you want to play and play one game at a time.
Man.
A, fuck you. And B, sometimes you just want to play a game and you want to be able to not have to worry about downloading it for 2 hours first. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like downloading and even delete. Our storage is getting so massive that deleting takes time. You ever try to delete like a 50 gig game?
Dude.
It takes like 5 minutes, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, get it off of there.
To the point where you think your shit is frozen.
Right? You're like, do I have to reset this? So,
right.
No, that's not.
They told me not to turn it off.
It's not viable. I get why people want storage expansion because I'm already reaching my limit and having to play the delete game shuffle. So.
Right. The other thing that was interesting that they added is 3D audio support for your TV speakers. Now, I'm assuming this would only apply to smart TVs because, you're not going to hook up your PS5 into a TV from 2005 and then it's going to have 3D audio on those speakers. I don't know, but I actually tried it on my speakers. I have a Sony Bravia and I hear the difference.
Interesting.
I was using a sound bar, but sometimes the sound bar wouldn't be cut on and I hear the regular TV speakers. I'd be like, this sounds weird. But with the 3D audio, it sounds way more dynamic and almost as if I have a sound bar.
That's interesting.
TV. So it's weird, but I like it. Like, because the headset has 3D audio,
Mm-hmm.
the Pulse, and I love that. I love that headset. So,
Oh, you have one?
to have that,
I think you told me
to
you had
have
one,
that. Yeah, big ballin' over here, and
Shot calling.
right, shot the caller. But yeah, that's about it for the PS5 update. There are some other things, they enhanced the control center and the friends tab and some other stuff, some remote play stuff, but
patch notes
not
online.
very interesting. Yeah, not very
patch
interesting.
notes.
So.
Well, I can think of something pretty interesting, at least to me. Gamecube turned 20 this week. I think on Tuesday it was the 20th anniversary of Gamecube. Whomp. I feel like that was way too long. By the way,
no.
It's, that little cube spun around the G like twice.
Right?
Whomp, stop. No, it's too long. You're just, my OCD brain can't take you doing that. Like, I'm freaking out because you're going too long. I'm like, no. I know there needs to be like trap music. There probably already is.
Oh yeah, there is. You know
there's a trap.
You love trap music.
Well, we did it for PlayStation 2. Did you want to go down memory lane and talk about, where you got your first GameCube, your favorite GameCube memory, stuff like that?
Sure. So, I never actually owned a GameCube in its heyday. I didn't have one. Because I had PS2, that was it. That's what I had. That's what I played. But one of my best friends did have a GameCube, and he had GameCube, Xbox, and PS2. I was like,
speaking of big balling.
But right, big balling all day. I'm like, we 12. We
where you get all this shit?
How you got where you get all this money from, man? But he had a GameCube and he had Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I remember just spending hours and hours playing that shit, man. And then like Yu-Gi-Oh! The False-Bound Kingdom, and I'm trying to think of what else we played on there. I think he had the movie Hulk game. I never really played any Mario parties on GameCube. Like, GameCube for me was just like a rare exotic animal where I only got to partake in it. Just,
That's how Dreamcast was for me. Like, I never had a Dreamcast, but I had a buddy that had a Dreamcast, and I was always like, ooh.
Right.
What do you got? The Sonic? Oh, his footprints stay in the sand? That's cool. Shenmue? Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Shenmue blew my balls off, dude. Like, I know how bad it looks now, but man, at the time, you got to understand what games looked like at the time. There was nothing like Shenmue when it came out. Oh my god.
Yeah, but probably my favorite memory is the first time playing Beautiful Joe. And just how campy it was, and it was funny, and the combat was actually really intuitive and cool, and the powers were awesome. To this day, it's probably my favorite GameCube game.
Awesome.
Period, even though it came out on PS2 as well. But to me, Beautiful Joe is a GameCube game, period. It may as well not even exist on a PS2, as far as I'm concerned.
I feel you. I totally get that. I didn't get a GameCube when it first came out. In fact, I was rarely an early adopter of Nintendo consoles until I think the only console I got from Nintendo at launch was the DS Lite, the Game Boy Advance, and then most recently the Nintendo Switch. Everything else I always got later, if I got it at all. And now, I didn't get the GameCube at the end of its life cycle either. I think I got it towards the middle or the back half. And so I had some games to catch up on. I immediately got Smash Brothers and became obsessed with it. I got Animal Crossing when it came out, and I was obsessed with that. Played Eternal Darkness. For me, it was the PS2 and the GameCube were kind of Dreamcast catch-up machines, because you got Grandia 2, which was ported over to the PS2 poorly, but I still loved it. And then you had Skies of Arcadia, which was ported to the GameCube, and I snatched that up immediately, and I'm so glad I did, because we all know how that turned out. It is super rare. And Skies of Arcadia is probably one of my favorite RPGs of all time. It's fantastic. And the GameCube, it really is a definitive version, because they added in stuff post the Dreamcast version.
Right.
Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes, just a remake of Metal Gear Solid, but with Metal Gear Solid 2 graphics and gameplay. That was really cool. A lot of people,
actually cool.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying that's cool to think about, that there was a full blown remake of a PS1 game. Like we think about remakes now, where it's like Final Fantasy VII remake. Like, wow, that's a complete remake. But remakes have been getting done for a very long time, and
And this
We're
was
looking
definitely
good.
more faithful to the original PS1 game. It wasn't, you know how Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're taking some
Yeah, it
liberties
wasn't
and
a
stretching shit.
reimagine. Yeah.
Yeah, but the cutscenes had a new director, and they were buck wild. So if in the original game, Snake did a jump back to dodge a bullet, in the new game he like flipped backwards and like dove off a wall, and there was an explosion or something dumb. Like it went ham.
Nice.
So. But yeah, I loved my GameCube. I loved that it had 4 players right away. You didn't have to get a multi-tap or anything. So any game that I wanted to play multiplayer on, I always got GameCube. The discs were smaller, and therefore the lens had less distance to move to load games. So games actually loaded faster than on the PS2. So if there was a multi-platform game like Spider-Man 2, I got that for GameCube instead of my PS2. So it started to eat my PS2's lunch. Kind of how my Nintendo Switch was eating my PS4's lunch for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I could get it for PS4, but I could take it on the go with the Switch.
Play it anywhere.
Yeah, and now the PS5's like, but we can load instantly, and I'm like, okay.
Well.
Okay, all right, I get it. Okay. And
Plus
the pandemic, you're not going
mini games
anywhere.
that aren't
Oh,
coming
that's a
on
good
the
point.
Switch
That's a good point.
anyway.
That's a good point. I'm not going anywhere in the pandemic, am I? Okay. All right. But yeah, the GameCube is a fantastic system. I even got the Game Boy player in its hay. Like I went out and got it so I could play my Game Boy games. I started, played, and beat Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance on my TV through my Game Boy player.
That's cool.
That's how I went in.
That's some meta shit right there.
Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. I have fond memories. The GameCube was a fantastic system. It's still fun to collect for now because I still don't have Luigi's Mansion. That's one of the games I need to get one day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my son keeps hounding me about it because I have Dark Moon and I have 3. But he's like, you got to get the first Luigi's Mansion. I'm like, you can just watch it on TV. He goes, but I want to play it. I'm like, all right, fine. But yeah, the GameCube was a fantastic system. And congrats on turning 20 this week. Woo!
Yeah,
GameCube.
one more year and we're taking you out.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to hit the town with the little purple cube. What'd you get when you eventually got your GameCube? Did you get purple, black? What'd you get?
Oh, purple.
Yeah, me too. Got the indigo.
Or indigo, as it were. Yeah.
With a little handle, so you can carry it to your friend's house. Oh, man. What a great Resident Evil 4. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Metroid Prime.
Before it was ported to everything, Resident Evil 4, boy.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men Legends 2, already had them 4 players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I could go on and on about the GameCube.
Yeah, that was. I would say that the GameCube's main gimmick was that, well, the small disc, but also it had 4 players, like out the box.
Out the box.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sometimes they'd fuck up though. Remember Crystal Chronicles?
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't play 4 players unless you had 1 controller and 3 Game Boy Advances.
Yeah,
What were they thinking? That should have been optional. That should not have been required.
Right.
So that was kind of ridiculous. But no, overall, it was a wonderful system. And I got a lot of fond memories. And I did a TikTok recently where I threw in Animal Crossing to show that I could play Legend of Zelda on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of TikTok, by the way, I forgot to mention this last week. I don't know if we were there yet at the time of recording, but we're over 1,000 followers on TikTok, man.
Yeah.
Woo, woo. You don't seem impressed.
I mean, no, I'm impressed. Yeah.
Okay.
When I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit, we got 1,000 followers. Let's go."
Let's go.
But the feeling's already passed.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and
because now we're at 1,022.
yeah, and it seems like, I don't know if you would agree with this. It seems like the followers are slowing down now. Like, I don't know if we got shadow banned because we grew too fast or what happened, but like we're not getting followers at the same rate we used to. So, but we've been putting out videos at the same rate.
Right.
So
you've been putting out videos at the same rate. I've been slacking very heavily.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like I said, Tales of Arise. I'm not doing nothing else. I'm sorry.
Could literally be doing Tales of Arise videos right now, but okay.
Right.
Sorry,
but yeah,
too
engrossed in it.
Too engrossed. Can't even pull out my phone to record. I get you though. I totally understand. I've had games take a hold of me like that. I can name a ton of them. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. When I first got my hands on that,
so good.
Don't bother me. But yeah, no. If you're listening and you haven't followed us on TikTok, please do, because it's probably one of the easiest ways to interact with us, and we're putting up videos every single day. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I think we're getting towards the end of our show. This week, I want to ask you, as I ask you every week, just have to know, what are you feeling? But unfortunately, I know the answer, and you are feeling
Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise. That's it.
That's all I could be feeling.
Literally obsessed with Tales of Arise.
I haven't eaten, slept, anything.
Nope. Clearly you haven't
Tales of
washed.
Arise.
I can smell you from here. No, I'm just playing.
But
But no, same thing with me. Like, I'm not really feeling anything other than Fire Emblem Warriors. That's all I want to play. So we're not really feeling anything new this week. We're just both engrossed in our game of choice.
yes.
But the way you're talking about Tales of Arise has got me interested in wanting to play it. I need to check that out, I think.
Dude, you need to buy it. You need to buy it.
Yeah.
Full price. Go to Walmart. It'll be $10 cheaper.
Go to Walmart right now.
Right.
Right now.
$10.
All right, but because news was light this week and topics were light this week, I did want to go ahead and throw in something I've been mulling around for a while because I thought it was an interesting topic. And it could have been a listener question, but if it is, it's from me. So, what I thought it would be interesting to talk about is your favorite video game movie that everyone else hates. And feel free to join in, listeners, if you want to send us comments or let us know what your favorite video game movie is that everyone else hates. We'd love to hear your stories. But I'll start with you, Derek. What is your favorite video game movie that everyone hates?
My favorite video game movie that everyone hates, undoubtedly, is Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, no, you're right. That movie sucks.
Yeah.
Why do you like it so much?
Oh my God. It's just it's the pinnacle of campiness. And usually when we talk about camping, you're talking about like comic book properties and stuff. But Mortal Kombat Annihilation does something that it looks like it should have been straight to DVD.
It wasn't it?
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it didn't make it to theaters.
I don't know if it was straight. I don't know if it's straight to DVD.
I'm pretty sure it was so straight to DVD it hurt.
Hold on.
I think it was straight to VHS.
Straight to DVD it hurt. Let's see. Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
He's looking it up, y'all. Well, okay, while you're looking it up, I feel like camp can only go so far. It can't push past your expected structure for a movie and suspension of disbelief, and it can't hit you from all sides. To me, the first Mortal Kombat was good because it was campy. And the second one just went, well, we can just do whatever the fuck we want because people love the first one and we don't understand why. And they made it bad. They just made it real bad. I think true camp is when you take it seriously and really lean into the lore. And I mean, there were wigs that were half on. There was a bunch of casting changes, even though they picked up literally where the first one left off. Like you could stitch the two movies together. There was such a dissonance between the first movie and the second, and such a noticeable dip in quality that I think it just turned a lot of people, myself included, off. But other than camp, I mean, what are you have to dissect this for me. What do you like about it?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I want some information I just found.
Okay.
Apparently, it had a budget. It did release in theaters. It had a budget of $30 million, and it made $51.3 million.
Off the success of the first, and it killed the franchise. No Mortal Kombat 3, by the way.
Yeah, no. But there's something about them going all out and saying, fuck it. Who's in Mortal Kombat? Who's in the games? Put them in the movie. We don't care if it makes sense. Bring Cyrax to come get Jax and have some weird tattoo dragon
Night Wolf. And put it in the pizza.
Right.
Cyrax. Put him in the pizza.
Right.
Motaro. Put him in the pizza.
Put him in the pizza. Yeah, exactly. He needs to be in the pizza. When I saw Night Wolf, I was like, oh my God, that's Night, because he was like one of my favorite characters to play as.
What? That's also an unpopular opinion. Nobody likes Night Wolf. No. Get out of here.
I love Night Wolf. He's so cool.
What?
Summoning spirit bow and arrows, spirit animals. Like, it's just cool. And then he had this little talk like this. And you gotta find your animality, Liu Kang. And I was like, oh, that guy fucks.
How old were you when you were like, this guy fucks?
As a 7-year-old.
As a 7-year-old. He's like, hey, Night Wolf fucks, y'all.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And then and then Jade shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking she was so attractive.
When
I
okay,
saw
so you
that
became a
movie.
man when you saw Jade in Mortal Kombat. Now it's all making sense. Okay.
When I rewatched it, I was like, oh, she's not that cute.
Oh no. His taste
Which,
have
I mean, it's
changed.
fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. But you know what? You know, she might, and this is someone that I do think is a beautiful woman, Taraji P. Henson. She reminds me of an Asian Taraji P. Henson
Okay.
in the face. But she would be like, Liu Kang, and she'd be talking like this. And always drag the end of her words.
Well, see, everybody talks like Nightwolf. That's, I mean, you can't have everybody talking like Nightwolf.
I'm sorry, man, but it.
Yeah, every single
aside,
person growling their lines, just like
Yeah.
"You will die." Like, I mean, in the first one, the only one growling their lines was literally Shang Tsung. Everybody else was just like Johnny Cage is like, "Those are $500 sunglasses, asshole."
Here's the thing: I can't defend this movie because it's not good. It's just not good. But
It isn't.
I love it. I love it. Like, you have Sub-Zero's brother show up and do shit, and then he just leaves, and then he's gone. He's never back again. Nightwolf shows up, he leaves, he's gone, he's never back again. Like, there are so many characters. Scorpion, he appears, kidnaps Katana, and you never see him again. You never see Scorpion again.
Scorpion
in
he's
this
like the main
movie.
dude. That's messed up.
Right. And you get Baraka, which I think at the time, I think the effects on Baraka were pretty cool. I don't know. That's just me.
I feel like I'm going to go back and watch the movie, and you're going to be able to see the actor's eyes through his teeth. And is that what I'm going to be able to see?
Through his teeth. Ermac. Was Ermac in it, or was it Rain?
Oh, I don't know.
It was one of them. Ermac and Rain. I don't know. Some of the characters, they like combined together.
They just color
I just
corrected the
love
film
it,
on the
man.
same actor.
They're just like, and whoever they couldn't get in the movie, they just name dropped them. 2 of Earth's greatest warriors have already been captured: Cabal and Stryker. It was like, oh shit, Cabal and Stryker
check 'em
exist
off.
in universe.
Wow.
And Shao Kahn just hamming it up. He's just like, tell me, did you make them beg for their lives before destroying them? But master, I thought if we let them live. Then he fucking hammers them into a fire pit. It's just...
I remember early
Again.
on in our friendship when I invited you and Vicky over for Mortal Kombat night, and we watched the first movie, and the first thing you said after we watched the first movie is, are we going to watch the second movie? And I looked at you like, get the fuck out of my house.
Right. You know,
I didn't
all
realize
this to
how much you
say-
loved it. I didn't know.
Yeah, I could talk about this movie all day. I probably have the whole thing memorized. And it's just got it memorized.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing piece of cinema and needs to be experienced by the masses.
I can't
No
say
other
I
greater
agree,
video
but I
game
appreciate how much you love it. I do. That's great.
I love it. I love it. It's nostalgia mostly, though.
Yeah.
Like,
And one good turn, because I'm about to talk about mine. The video game movie that I like that everybody else hates is Doom with The Rock and Carl Urban.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought that... I didn't think that movie was the greatest thing I ever saw, but I thought it worked. From start to finish, I was like, yeah, this is Space Marines, go to Mars, there's demons, they fight the demons, people die, it's gory and violent. There's a first-person shooter sequence after the guy takes the drugs to make him more powerful, and he's got to fight a demon Rock. And shit's... I mean, and also just the swerve, because you think Rock's the main character, right? And he's supposed to be the good guy, and then it ends up being Carl Urban. Rosamund Pike's in there before she got all famous, and she's doing a good job. Like, everybody's putting forth an effort. The teleporter technology didn't work at first, and some guy's ass didn't come through, so he was in a wheelchair. And then he ended up being like one of the monsters without the legs. Like,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater.
Oh,
And
wow.
I wasn't even a Doom fan. Like,
Yeah.
I had never played Doom.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I knew it was a first-person shooter, and that's about all I knew about it. But when I saw that first-person sequence, I was like, oh, they just changed the game. This is amazing.
How old were
And
you
when
when
did
you
that
saw
come-
it?
Oh, Jesus. When did Doom come out?
It was a while ago. At least 10 years, if not more.
2005. I was 15.
Okay. And I would have been in my early 20s.
Yeah.
It's like 23 or maybe something
boy.
like that.
Much more so than my movie. I can defend yours.
Yeah,
for
well, that's the thing. I still, to this day, it's a mystery to me why people hate it so much. Because I wish I could explain. I wish I had an example like yours where I liked it and I just know that it's bad, but I like it anyways. I mean, a non-video game movie, Hackers. I love the hell out of Hackers. Hackers is garbage. It's a bad movie. It's just lack of understanding of even the basic ways that we use computers and how teenagers act and how old they are and New York and just so many things that it has no understanding of. It's so dumb, and I love it so much just because of how, again, the camp, right? But Doom, I thought Doom was a competent movie. I thought it was enjoyable. And again, it was based on a video game where you shoot demons on a different planet, and that's what they do.
Right.
You did the thing. You did a Mortal Kombat. It's about as good as the original Mortal Kombat in my eyes because it was faithful to the source material and it gave you what you came for. So I was very confused why people didn't like it. Listeners, if you yourself do not like the Doom movie or you have a better explanation of why people hate it so much, let us know. We need to understand this. And again, let us know what your favorite video game movie that everyone else hates is, and then we will agree with you and or shit on it in the comments of wherever you post it. Or if you email us, we'll talk about it next week.
Runner-up for me is Street Fighter the movie, but we can talk about that another day.
Well, for me, that was just another Tuesday. So, all right. Well, we're gonna give some praise to our one and only sponsor, Anchor, and then we'll come back to close it out. So please stick around. All right, and we're back. Thanks for sticking around. I just want to let people know if they're looking for you and they want to find your store, maybe they want to get that surround sound Xbox, where could they get a hold of you at to try and negotiate a deal on that thing?
So they can check out the eBay store at ebay.com/str/gamergoodies and more. I'm on Instagram at gamergoodiesmore and on Twitter at goodies_more. And feel free to message me anytime about anything, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Excellent. All right. And if you want to follow us as a podcast, remember, we upload episodes every single Sunday. And our main hub is anchor.fm/player2 is enter the pod. However, you can listen to us wherever podcasts are available. That includes Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also contact us through social media or email us at mcpaperstacks@gmail.com for questions, suggestions, feedback, listener, whatever you got. If you want to find us on social media, we're on facebook.com/player2 is enter the pod. We're on YouTube. Player2 is enter the podcast is the name of the channel. We're on TikTok at Player2 is enter the pod. We have a Patreon at Player2 is enter the pod. You can find me personally on Twitter if you'd like. That's at Mike Peterson AL, and I do Twitch streaming every week. That's twitch.tv/mcpaperstacks, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, focusing on brawlers, horror games, and just trying a new game out for that particular week. And that's our show. So we appreciate you guys coming out and listening to us once again this week. A very, very happy anniversary to Derek and his wife. And we will see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.